I know what the title says. I know what it says. I wrote it, but you got to understand. You got to, that Kai Jones is the next Giannis. All right. You heard it here first. He isn't. Totally kidding. Definitely not. But maybe. Who knows? Just look at this. Listen. All right. Listen. listen. All right. He's not Giannis at all. But this right here, this right here is definitely Giannis adjacent. Dribble from the free throw line. Step, slam. Another angle. Bruh. Come on. Okay, so with that out the way, hello, how you doing? My name is Sam Dracula. This is a Hornets fan channel. The third summer league game of the summer is in the books. Hornets are still winless, but it is what it is. They've played very well today against the Spurs team, so I'll take that. It's a way better showing from everybody compared to that Kings matchup where the Hornets really couldn't get anything going, and they had like 25 turnovers in that game. That was a horrible showing from everybody against the Kings. This was at least more fun to watch, which as a biased observer, way more grateful for this experience than the Kings experience. Before we start talking about any Hornets players, I want to show some love to the ops. You know, the Spurs team, Trey Jones specifically had a mad one today, tore up the Hornets. Big ups to him. He looked great. I don't know. I don't watch the Spurs that often. I know he played 37 games for them last season. I assume now his roster spot is pretty secured. I don't know if he's been doing this all summer league, but boy was on fire today. So big ups to him. And then also shout out to David Robinson's son. It's really cool that he's on the Spurs and he's wearing his dad's retired number. Big up to Justin Robinson as well. All right, now let's talk about the Hornets. It's a shame the Hornets couldn't win their third summer league game. It really is. I would love for them to get a win just for the sake of it, because this team I thought was completely different from the first quarter compared to quarter 2, 3, and 4. The intensity levels went up. The shot selection and shot making went up in the second, third, and fourth quarter, which is really what you want to see after a rough start like we saw today. He's in the title, he's in the thumbnail, so it's only right that we start talking about him first. Kai Jones, all right? The question about him, and even Borrego and Kupchak, as they're kind of going through media interviews lately, are kind of like questioning what position he is. Not saying he's a lock for the center position, but that he can do multiple things on the floor offensively and defensively. And we've been seeing him start with Nick Richards or Vernon Carey, either of those guys playing the 5 and then Kai Jones as like the 4. Judging by the way he plays and how he kind of brings the ball up and is active around the 3-point line, he seems to be wanting to play like a small forward or forward just in general. So that may be where he's locked in, and I'm very much okay with that because his ability to get to the rim from the 3-point line is actually crazy. Using that size and athleticism is a real plus. We know we can count on that from him at an early stage in his career while he continues to develop his game, right? Plenty of time to improve his shooting, plenty of time to improve his dribbling and playmaking. At the very least, you can feel comfortable seeing him putting the ball on the floor and attacking the rim. That's a really interesting dynamic from a guy his height and width and length, and so that's really cool to see. So my question going into the game was, would we see more discipline from him? Because in that Kings game, he was chucking up shots. It was gross. It was actually gross what he was doing out there. Today was very different. I felt like he was reeled in more. And summer league, it's an opportunity to get your shit off in a way. And I'm not going to kill anybody for doing it, because a player we're going to talk about a second is a player I like a lot who was doing a lot of what I just was knocking Kai Jones for. There was a lot of gross stuff happening, but it was still fun, and I appreciate the ambition. More on that later. But with Kai, you got off to a rough start today. Got an early offensive 3 seconds call, not what you want to see to start off a game. But he doesn't care. In a good way, like that short-term memory, something bad happened. He knows he'll get another opportunity in summer league at least to make up for it. If he does that in an NBA game, there's a decent chance Borrego pulls him, but not in this setting, which is good for his development and building his confidence, right? Because he has so much confidence, he's willing to do anything he wants to do on the floor. If he has a thought in his head, he's going to let it run. There's no filter there. If he wants to pull up in transition for a three, he'll shoot that three. If he wants to put the ball on the ground and attack the rim, he'll attack the rim. Now, mixed results with the shooting. That will come in time. Like I mentioned before, he's more than capable of attacking the rim with authority and skill and finesse. I love that from him. That's where the Giannis stuff starts and ends. Like, he's only Giannis and Jace in that specific skill set. Even like my guy, I love you, Kai Jones. I love you, but man, at the end of the first quarter, he tried to run an ISO and like try to hit him with the between the legs move. Oh my God, it just went nowhere. Didn't work at all. I don't think he'll ever try that in an NBA game. So if you're ever gonna do it, the Summer League is a place to do it. So respect. Get your off, my kid, but don't ever do that in an NBA game until you're ready. Until you're ready. He has a great motor, and he never seems to get tired. And if like the opposing team is not keeping an eye on him, he will come through with authority on a putback slam. Like that type of stuff in your second unit when things are going a little stagnant or stale is a real, it's a real win to have a guy like that on the roster. So I fully expect him to be involved with the Charlotte Hornets immediately for the first game of the season. And I think we could see some really nice plays from him. And I hope to see and hear from his mom in the crowd. She was a low-key superstar today. They even gave his mom a live mic, and you could tell where he got his personality from. So yeah, listen, like, I love Kai Jones. I'm excited to see what he could bring to the Hornets in the short term and long term. I think today reinforced that. And you just got to work on that discipline, make those movements count. So you're not burning yourself out or putting yourself at risk or putting your team at a disadvantage when making poor decisions offensively. Between the highlights and his mom, Kai Jones and his family are going to be folk heroes here in Charlotte. All right, so James Bouknight is up next. He's coming off a rough game against the Kings. He started off today's game rough, but from the second quarter on, he was on as a shot maker, shot creator. He's getting his teammates involved. He was running the fast break. He hit Kai Jones for an alley-oop when he didn't need to. Like, James Bouknight through the second, third, and fourth quarter was a very different James Bouknight than we saw in the first quarter and even in the game against the Kings. So I love that progression, that level up attitude we've seen from Bouknight. And I think it goes back to what I was talking about before in my last video of like a short-term memory where it's like, something bad happened. I'm not going to let that get to me. He knows what he can do. He knows his abilities. His hesitation dribble with the high angle lay-in is very Terry Rozier-like. Bouknight is far from being at Terry's level, but you can see flashes of what Bouknight will be in the NBA. I can see what Bouknight's trying to do out there, and I'm glad he's a member of this roster because without him today, I don't know if this game would have been as close as it was. He put his team on his back to bring him back into that game and flirt with the lead there for a little bit before the Spurs pulled away. But I'm a big fan of how he was able to get his own shot. Driving with his right hand or left hand, step backs. He has plenty of options to get something going offensively when there's not a lot there. So when he's playing with a more seasoned point guard like Ish Smith or even LaMelo Ball, like, no offense to Grant Riller or DJ Carton, but like, there's levels to it, right? I think when Bouknight's on the floor and his only job is to score and he doesn't have to worry about trying to create for others, I think it's going to put him in a better position offensively too. So I can't wait to see him run with the big team because everybody is going to get better involved. Him being a ball stopper in the Kings game and then the first quarter of this game, it wasn't very fun to watch, as a fan. I tuned in the Summer League looking for some entertainment. I don't want to have to be going through it like I go through it during the regular season games. So I want the Summer League games to be fun and entertainment, and Bouknight delivered on that tenfold today. So salute to him. He even has the Cody Martin charge down as well. He's scooping his heat a little bit. He's scooting the Martin twins' heat, drawing charges now. They gotta watch the block a little bit. Bouknight is still not where he needs to be defensively or from like a playmaking in the half court point of view. He can pull off some spectacular stuff on the defensive end in the playmaking department, but he's not a finished product there yet. So time will fix that. Experience will fix that. I'm not worried about that. As long as when he's on the floor, we know we can count on him to put himself in a position to score. That is a valuable known asset. That makes me feel comfortable when like Terry, Oubre, or Hayward or LaMelo or Ish or whatever aren't on the floor when we know we can get buckets, some offense from Book Night when he's playing. The point guard play this summer league hasn't been really like a positive, I'd say. There's been other strong suits from the entirety of the roster. The point guard play hasn't really been it. Grant Riller, I thought today, to his credit, played his best summer league game we've seen thus far from him. I still prefer, I think, Carton over Riller, mainly because Riller shoots, Carton doesn't. And I like that. I like Carton isn't a shooter. You know, he'll pass and he drives. And he does that better than the way Riller shoots. Kai Jones is my favorite player to watch this summer league. That's not going to change. Jello or Book Night is probably is right up there, but Kubolka is making a run. He's making a run up my fan favorite power ranking. He's 6'9". He has a high release and a quick release. I love his shot. He's 23 years old. This is his third summer league with the Hornets. He was in Spain before coming back here to the States. His shot looks super smooth, super silky, and he'll try to pull off a spicy pass every once in a while too. You know, he sent one into the stands early on to the game, but what I love about that didn't stop him from trying it again, and he pulled it off. So if he can become some type of like weird 6'9" shooter and playmaker from the wing, he'll be a very good piece to the puzzle that the Hornets can really use. The issue is the Hornets have a ton of wing players, so the competition there is gonna be really tight. But Kubolka, through the summer league thus far, through this experience, I think has done everything he could possibly do to make a run at a roster spot this season. Because I think he's outshining JT Thor and Scotty Lewis, in my opinion. And I'd love it if he made the roster somehow, some way. Last but not least, Leeangelo Ball, okay? Third summer league game. I'm hoping for game 4 of the summer league, they just let him start and just like let him run. See what he got, see what he has to offer, you know? Because from what I can tell, if you kind of extrapolate what you've seen thus far in the summer league and what his skill sets are, his value in the league, as he seems to be a guy who can guard his own position like moderately well, like good enough, and hit down a catch and shoot bucket. The Hornets in the summer league in game 1 especially used Jello correctly. Game 2 was tough for everybody. Game 3 was better. So there were a couple times where Jello was trying to create for himself off the dribble with not so good results. That's something he'll have to work on and improve on. That'll get better on with time, either in the gym or in just in-game situations. So I'm not worried about that as long as he continues to hit those open threes, or just not even open threes, those catch and shoot threes, because he's shown that he can shoot the ball while being covered. His shooting's legit. I think he's a legit NBA level shooter off the catch. You'll just need to round out his shooting abilities in just different situations as he continues to develop. His basketball IQ is to the point where he knows what he does best and what he needs to work on. So I've no doubt he'll continue to round out his shooting like arsenal as his game develops, as he plays more, as he matures more. So I'm not worried about that because, you know, even just look at his first possession of the game, or his first possession of the game. The first time he touched the ball, came off a screen, got the ball in like a hot potato situation with the shot clock winding down and drained it. You know, that's what coming in cold like that's what you love to see. That is what you need from a bench role player. I think he'll be a member of the Charlotte Hornets roster, like the main roster, at some point this year for an extended period of time. And hell, he hit a half-court buzzer beater with 0.6 seconds left. Like, you can't write this stuff. 3 games of Summer League in the books with some mixed results for everybody, the team holistically included, but it's Summer League, right? It is what it is. I'm looking forward to the rest of this offseason, and I just can't wait for the actual season to start. I want to see who makes the final roster. I I want to see these rookies playing with these vets. I want to see these vets play with our current young players, guys like LaMelo, Bridges, and PJ. You know, there's so many things to look forward to. There's so many like narrative threads to focus in on that this Hornets team, you know, I'm very biased here. You see it behind me. It's a Hornets fan channel, so it is what it is. But listen, there's a lot to be excited about as a Hornets fan right now. And it's only going to get better from here on out. It's been a crazy ride thus far. I'm going to be here for every step of the way. I hope you are too. I appreciate everyone's support, everyone who's watching this video, especially to this point in the video. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll be back with another video after Summer League Game 4. But until then, see you next time. Peace.